Cruz, and I'm coming to you live today for an important stream. We have the Erin Cruz show tonight. It's really going to be exciting. We're having a candidate on who's running for San Francisco mayor. But right now, I need to come to you and bring to you something that was shared with me. I had to do a bit of background research before I would bring this live with all of you out there. We have an extremely dire situation here in the state of California and across the nation. I reported on this in my book, Crushing Corruption, but really we need to talk about the seriousness of what's going on in the nation. Anti-Semitism, hate is at an all-time high. What we're seeing is that McCarthy was right. There are going to be people that go, oh my gosh, Erin, I can't believe you said that. But McCarthy was right. We do have communists, not just socialists, communists, Nazis in our midst here in the United States of America. This is no joke. It's not okay. And as a matter of fact, don't let people lie to you and let you believe that these people fall under the right, under conservatives, under the GOP. This is not correct. This is not true. The GOP is a conservative party, a party of inclusion and a true equality, fostering all religious bases and ensuring that equality is paramount and liberties are preserved. Right now, I'm going to bring to you a recording, a Periscope that was shared with me yesterday in the very early hours of the morning about a Nazi who's infiltrated, and he's not the only one, he reportedly says, who's infiltrated the GOP. This is highly disturbing. Some audiences may not want to listen to the excerpts. I am going to let the excerpts play and sit here and speak with each one of you. In the chat, if you haven't joined the chat, please join the chat. But I want to get this started. Also, please let me know if you can hear the scope clearly. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for all of you now. Give it just a minute. It's going to pull up. But it is really highly disturbing. Not only does this person state that they believe in Nazism, they're for the Aryan nation, if you will. They want to exterminate and put an end to the Jews and stop the partnership, the ally, Israel, from participating in global politics or policies or whatever you want to call it, but they really talk about the intricacies of what they believe and how they are infiltrating our conservative party here in the United States. And, folks, this is not the only time that this has happened. This has happened over and over again. We've seen it over the last year and a half running for U.S. Senate. We had a white supremacist, anti-Jew person running on the Republican Party platform. They actually kicked him out of the convention. And as a matter of fact, we were not the only state that had this happen. It happened in another state as well, and that GOP basically put out a statement stating that this type of hate will not be embraced by or condoned by the Republican Party, which was just wonderful. But unfortunately, people are not recognizing the fact that this is an issue, that these people are actively infiltrating the Republican Party, and there isn't enough exposure and highlighting this sort of hate, and it's just unfortunate. This scope is apparently having a very difficult time downloading. Give it just a minute. Hopefully it'll pull up here and you can hear it. There are actually two scopes that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and it's important that you share this scope that I'm doing right now and get this out there. We also do not want to share this person's scope. We do not want to blow this person up and give this person attention. However, what you can do is, while this Periscope is sharing with you, I will give you their information so you can go write it down And if you'd like to report them to the appropriate authorities, if this is information that you feel is important for the authorities to know or your congressperson to know, I would like for you to please go ahead and do that. Share that information with the appropriate authorities as you see fit. It's just not okay what we're seeing here today. So the details on this person, the person is Jovi Val, and he's basically touting Nazism and bragging about how they had a Nazi birthday party for Hitler. It was just extremely disturbing. So we're going to go ahead and push play here. The for Periscope for this person, again, do not share the Periscope. However, if you want to go to the Periscope and share it with the authorities, we will not discourage you from doing so. The on Periscope for this person is @Ludwig1488, and here we go. Here we go. You guys, this is unbelievable. Here we go. Let me know if you can hear this.
Take it at the face value, or you come up with your own ideology. Now, I would recommend to you Americans, no matter what political beliefs you're following, because all Americans are fed up with the current system. I would recommend for America, third party. Vote out the other two parties, and you have a chance at taking back your government. And it's a lot easier starting a third party than you people think, because the hardest part about starting a third party is getting on all the ballots. Right now, the Libertarian Party is on every ballot, and it's an empty party. There's a couple stoners sitting around fucking smoking a joint. If you could get people to join en masse to the Libertarian Party, you can make up any platform you want. You could take it over. You can make the Libertarian Party stand for, nationalism.
Well, that's actually what we were trying to do we're actually still doing it now with the Republican Party. You see, a lot of us got involved.
You're trying to join the Republicans to...
No. I was in the Republican Party, and then this was revealed to me. So I was in the Republican Party, and then I started seeing what was going on. Now, I'm still more of a conservative, of course, but at the same time, I do think that we need to push for more nationalism. That's something we're not doing.
This is Jovi Val
either party. It's a duopoly, and it's such an issue right now that we're dealing with. But libertarians, I just don't take them seriously, so maybe anybody can just take over, which people are taking over, of course. People are definitely taking over that party. And the way I see it is, third position, you can definitely go for a Nationalist Party, which I actually wanted to do. I wanted to call it, instead of the Grand Old Party, it would be the Brand New Party. But I do want to start something up in the near future. But I am working on meeting different people and building a network, which we did a week ago, and we're going to keep it going. Now, I'm in it for the whole thing, like in the long run. I'm putting on the SWAT sticker because that's what I believe. I'm moving forward with that. I can wave the American flag, but so do neocons. I can, be a part of the Republican Party, but so are rhinos. It's like, I'd rather just do things in my own way, and people are definitely going to follow. People already do. I have, May Day coming up, and if I'm out there in New York City in May Day, I will have my flag, which is the Fast Bash flag. And this is something that I'm going to use for my activism, of course. But little by little, it's going to grow,
Well, you said you got that Fast Bash flag signed, right? Is that the one you're going to take? Without the people's awareness? Is that your...
Okay, guys, so I'm going to pause it right there, and it's important to share with you what they're trying to do, and we saw this in 2018, what they're trying to work to do is push conservatism and the right and the GOP as being a nationalist party where the Nazis are welcome. This is not true. This is actually furthest from the truth. And in fact, as we go throughout this interview, he's going to expose more and more about what their actual plan is. Yes, that is Yes, that is true. His channel is, as you mentioned. Please do not give him attention. Please, if you see fit as to what he is trying to state, which is actual anti-Semitism, hate, infiltrating of political systems, and working on behalf of other possible foreign agents to report this information to the appropriate authorities, and go from there. So now let me go ahead and let the rest play.
We're out there.
Basically, for those people just joining us right now, we have an individual who has been touting the Nazis as infiltrating the Republican Party, the GOP throughout the United States. It's a real big issue, and we believe that this issue has not been highlighted enough by the GOP in decrying what hate is out there and what is actually trying to be done to our party. Now, I'm going to pull up another scope that really talks about what they're trying to do, and share with you the truth, because what I'm seeing they're trying to do, these types of infiltrating groups, is they're working very overtime on wordsmithing and revisionism, if you will. Nationalism. There's nothing wrong with being a proud American. There is nothing wrong with being proud of what your country has accomplished in fighting for the liberties and freedoms for all, for people who want to come here and immigrate legally. That there's nothing wrong with nationalism in that sense. What is wrong is that they're trying to take historical uses of very disturbing and dangerous ideologies and melt it into nationalism and pervert it, and somehow very smoothly take over the Republican Party from within by wordsmithing on multiple different levels. And they think that they can stay in their particular groups and be independent. Now I'm going to be pulling up this scope. As you saw, the last scope took quite some time to pull up. Folks, please share this scope right now as I'm trying to pull this other one up to share with you. It's very important that we expose the progressive left, the Antifas, the Nazis, the anti-Americans, anti-equalists, those people who want to destroy our country from within. We must expose the truth behind those parties, those people who want to tear America apart from within. And so please share this video right now with all of your friends while I pull up the next scope. Apparently they don't want me to be able to pull up the next scope and share it with you. So we're going to just be real patient here while this is working forward. Do any of you, I'm going to ask you right now while I'm waiting for this to pull up, have any of you in your neighborhoods or in your localities experienced seeing Nazis or other types of anti-Semites infiltrate your community groups, your public platforms for elections? I know we've seen different individuals, Islamists, infiltrating in Minnesota, communists up in Washington, here in California. I know we've seen it in New York. If any of you have experienced this infiltration, please share it on the feed right now with one another, because we have to talk about the truth. The truth is America is being eroded from within, and we must shed a light on those who want to shut America down and keep her silent. And we must not stop or back down. As a matter of fact, not in Northwest Arizona. Okay. Well, that's good to hear. I know that Arizona had its own election fraud issues here this last year. You know, if the communists and progressive left socialists can't win legally, they're going to cheat, and that's what we're currently seeing in the country today. Is a bunch of corrupt government agencies, or shall I say government agencies with a bunch of corruption within them, and that needs exposed as well. And people are really joining the fight to help against fighting on those fronts for sure. For some reason or other, this scope is not pulling up. I really, really want to share this with you. I'm going to give it just another minute here. You know, going back to the election integrity, which is a big, big issue, and you know, the way I view it is we have voter fraud, which is people who are regular folks who are committing fraud relating to elections. Then we have election fraud, which is high-level intra-workings of the election system and the fraud there. And then we have these individuals who are trying to, like these Nazis and other people, trying to infiltrate our system and create instability, mistrust of certain parties to help destabilize America and our electoral system, which is just completely unfortunate. But there is good news. I started a nonprofit, Restoring America Now. If you go to restoringamericanow.org, literally restoringamericanow.org, there are two election pages. There's a national page and a state page. We need help building that out, but we literally have all 50 states there, where we have a directory where you can find local officials, you can find reporting agencies, you can find election integrity projects, you can find our Twitter task force there. There's a lot of great information about that on there. We're working together to unite people because we have to expose what's going on and share truth to keep our elections free. You know what? They are not allowing me to literally open my scope. Oh, here we go. We may be able to get it here. It's pulling up. And thank you, yes, thank you everybody for continuing to share this scope. We have only like 21 people on with us right now that I can see. Continue to share it. We're going to be sharing right now again information on this person, Ludwig 1488, who is talking about promoting Nazism within the Republican Party.
When I used to stream, the streams used to crash, and there were so many issues with Periscope, so I just stopped doing it. Jolie made a Nazi party and loves Hitler.
And yeah, don't worry about that. So are you a Nazi? Because everybody was telling me you're a Nazi, and they said
I'm a nationalist. I told people that I don't believe National Socialism could be implemented in a nation that has loyalty to Israel. That's what I say. So the reason why I don't believe National Socialism will exist in this country until we finally remove ourselves from the death grip of Israel is the only reason why I don't say I'm a National Socialist. I am a nationalist, and I do support Nazis or Nazis. I do support them.
Okay, so if you were to get your way, if you were to get your way and say evict the Jews from power out of the United States, are you the type that wants to implement National Socialism, or are you the type that's more leaning towards fixing capitalism?
Well, the way I see capitalism today is just corporatism. We're just pushing it heavily, and we're crushing all these smaller businesses. If the Jews were to actually remove themselves from America, then I'm pretty sure capitalism would actually be better off. So,
did you hear that? If the Jews would remove themselves from America. You know, here's the deal, everybody. Equality is equality is equality is equality. Individuals like this person are filled with hate. They want nothing more than the destruction and demise of Israel, though he doesn't call for that. if you can read between the lines and listen to what he's really saying and listen to what he's been preaching over a period of time, he would like to see the annihilation of the Jews. He would like to see Jews out of America. How does that accomplish? You know you're not going to have Jews leave America. That's just not going to happen. And in fact, as we go back to him talking, you're going to hear a bit more about this issue. For those who are just joining us, we're talking about individuals who are Nazis and wordsmithing and infiltrating the Republican Party. We need to be aware of what's going on in our country and be aware of what's going on in our parties and in our electoral system and ensure that our country for future generations is secured. People like this need to be exposed on every level. So please sit back and listen to what he has to say next. This is highly disturbing for those individuals who are sensitive. Please just, listen at your own risk. But if you need to turn this off and replay it so you can fast forward, that's perfectly okay. But I do know that the person who reported this to me and a couple of conversations I've had since is highly disturbing, and so yes, it could be understood that you may not want to listen, but I think it's important to expose the truth.
We could try.
So you're okay with you're okay if you were to liberate yourselves to repair capitalism.
I mean, in no way am I going to say, once the Jews are gone, that we should get rid of National Socialism. Not going to be a great idea. I don't believe that. I believe it will, actually. If it is implemented in the way that Hitler did in Germany, then perhaps we do have a chance of building this nation back again. But I am a capitalist. I do believe in, capitalism.
What is very dangerous here, folks, is what he's really talking about. He's talking about the annihilation of Jews. He's talking about creating a Nazi Germany here in the United States of America, and he's jumping all around in his speech in an attempt. And you would think that maybe it's because he's stupid. Or he's dumb, or he isn't very eloquent in his messaging. I believe he's actually manipulating in his messaging, and he's jumping back and forth. Capitalism, yes. Capitalism, no. Capitalism, yes. Capitalism, no. But if you really hear what he's saying when he's speaking, he wants to put an end to what we call the United States of America.
For the time being, but I wouldn't shun away those ideas.
Now, what do you envision, or I imagine you belong to a community, and you don't have to say what community, because I'm talking to you, so I like your opinion. What would you envision for America? Do you think that you could repair it as is with the population, or are you believe in segregation or separation?
I do.
Listen to this, folks. This is extremely dangerous, extremely dangerous. And this is the part where we have to really think about what is going on in our country. McCarthy was right, and there was a fostering and then a burying of those individuals which held those certain value systems from Nazi Germany. People were here who wanted to undermine our country. Now it's bred over time, and we're at a space where we have a new generation, a less soft generation, who is boldly speaking outwardly about such activities. And this is no joke. We're talking about right now, this person is talking and going to talk about the annihilation of Jews here in the United States of America.
That we should close all borders, even Canada, right? Not allow anyone to.
Because those Canadians.
Are you Canadian? Because I could have sworn you're talking about Americans, and I'm like, this guy has to be Canadian. He keeps saying Americans are the ones that are doing all these.
I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself. My name's Ludwig. I was born and raised in Germany. I came to America. I'm a dual citizen. I spent the majority of my life here in America. I'm a dual citizen. And I'm a German
Oh, okay. So is it pronounced Ludwig?
Yeah, Ludwig. You know, Americans, they're usually like Ludwig or Ludwig.
Yeah, Ludwig, Ludwig. Yeah. So.
And Ludwig Feuerbach is not my correct name, but it is my family name. Ludwig Feuerbach is actually my great-grandfather. And the reason I started using his name is because of doxing, and also I wanted to bring awareness to his works because they're trying to whitewash him out of history, and he's a very influential individual. Wagner and Nietzsche both said they were influenced by Ludwig Feuerbach's work. So,
well, that's what they're going to keep doing. They're going to keep pushing this whole idea that whites aren't influential or whites aren't inspirational, and it's actually someone else that's behind their work, you know?
Well, the biggest reason they're trying to whitewash Ludwig Feuerbach is because he knew Marx, and when Marx came up with Marxism, his philosophy, Ludwig came up with a paper that was called Nature's Law, and that was his counter to Marx's insanity. And so you know how the tribe is. You know, if you go against them, they'll do everything possible to erase you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, everyone's hearing me say that I want to expel Jews from America, but even Hitler had Jews in the SS. You know, there were people out there that really fought and believed in Germany. So I know there will be people in this country that really fight and believe in America, but you can't have dual citizenship. I don't believe in that. I think that is an issue.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I think you guys are stupid for letting me have dual citizenship.
Yeah, I mean,
I did not want to come to America, dude. I even ran away the night before we were leaving Germany.
You can go visit Israel as long as you want, but to say that you have dual citizenship, I think that's nonsense. I think it's like it dilutes nationalism. All of this is diluting nationalism, and people are afraid of nationalism because it works. And
okay, now here's his wordsmithing again. He's talking about nationalism, but really what he's talking about is communist political structure, where if we really want to get down to it, he's bastardizing the word nationalism. And you're going to hear a little bit more about this, but we need to be very, very clear about the difference between a nationalist and a communist. Be very clear about that. And if you don't know your definitions, look it up and familiarize yourself, because these individuals are literally infiltrating the Republican Party and other areas of our government and as employees and other things, and they're working very hard. They don't give up. They don't waste time. They don't have their chat meetings and luncheons and all that, just blowing away smoke and air. No, they're working hard to erode our government and to impact our elections and to take over our country. This is not a joke. It's extremely serious. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up is because nobody in the media is wanting to talk about the actual issues. They don't want to say Islamic terrorism still. They don't want to say anti-Semitism. Just recently we had a shooting at a synagogue here in San Diego County in Poway, where a rabbi was shot in the hand. A woman was killed. There were a community tragedy, and the anti-Jew hate, the problems that are facing our country. We don't have a media that's speaking the truth and telling the truth as it is to the people who live here, and it's putting our country at risk. And here's the deal. We have a president who's in charge now who doesn't mind speaking the truth, and he is torn down every chance that they can get, ripping him down, the media, every chance they can on something that he said, merely because he's spoken the truth. Agree with him or not, don't like what he says, like what he says, don't like that he uses Twitter. President Donald Trump is speaking about things the media won't talk about. So this is why we're coming to you today to bring you this information about this person who is a Nazi. He's talking about taking out the Jews. He's talking about closing the borders. He's talking about possible ways to take over our country, the communists to take over our country from within using our own infrastructure. So I'm going to continue to hit play here, folks.
Ideas of nationalism that I have for this country is to make sure that we do get rid of all the illegals first, and then well actually not even illegal, just shut down the borders. Shut down the borders. Everyone that's in this country, we have to work through every single person that's in. It's not going to be easy, of course, but they do it anyways. I mean, they do it with all this technology they force you to buy. With all this technology, I think recently the gas is shut off and they have to repair it and it has to be up to code so you can use a certain type of device that they can track you with. I'm a little bit paranoid, of course, when it comes to the government forcing you to use certain devices and being up to code, but yeah. So if they can do that with household appliances, I'm pretty sure they can do that to find out who's here legally, who's here illegally. We get Amber Alerts for when children are missing. We should get Amber Alerts or alerts when there's illegals in this country, you know, that are...
All right, hold on real quick. To the other gentleman, you keep wanting to call in. I'll give you a couple minutes to make your comment.
I just want to insert myself for 1 second, because your conversation here is very interesting and exciting. So I'm just going to make a quick...
Have your say.
Just to make it...
This conversation is really interesting and exciting. This is the problem with our country, folks, is that people are being completely at their most vulnerable state because they don't have anything really to hold on to. They're not being fed the accurate information out there, and so they're grasping at ideologies like this, which have long-standing really gripped those people who are crazy. And taken them and put them in positions where then entire countries, you know, the SS started out small and it grew very, very quickly. Read your history books. But this person, Ludwig, yes, that's the person's page that we're on for this particular scope, but the person he's speaking to, who is the Nazi, is real Jovi Val. And then right now we have Kiro Phelps on as well, who's saying that this is really exciting. You know, folks may be nodding their heads and going, why is Erin bringing this up? Why does Erin have this on? We need truth talk. We need truth talk here in America. The politicians aren't doing it. The globalist politicians aren't doing it. Congress isn't taking care of their job. Securing our borders, we have illegals in our ranks, we have people undermining our election systems, even our own government possibly taking part in this thing, and now we have nationalists who are really Nazis taking over the CAGOP, the GOP, working from within, who are saying we need to close our borders. They're appealing to a certain group. And in fact, they're also using Making America Great Again, MAGA, to do this in some cases, as we saw in 2018 and as I talked about in my book, Crushing Corruption. There are people literally on America First, nationalist, MAGA, who want Medicare for all, including medical, dental, vision, orthodontics. They want amnesty. They would like to secure our borders, but we need amnesty. There are serious issues with the communists and the people who are trying to take over our party and our country from within. Forget the party, forget GOP, forget Democrat. Look at liberty and say to yourself, when is enough enough? And when are we going to put our foot down and stand with President Donald Trump and let him know, look, we see it. It's in our communities. This is what's happening across America. The communists are here. They are not bashful about their agenda. Just look at AOC. Look at the Islamists like Elian Omar, who's literally talked about annihilating the Jews and her anti-Semitism, and touring with CARE, a known supporter organization of Hamas. So there are serious issues, and this is nothing that should be ignored. This is important. It's important to talk about and expose. So we're going to listen to a little bit more of what this person who says this is exciting has to say.
Point. The video that you were just showing, and I came in a little late, but most of the videos that you were showing were referencing not Auschwitz, but Theresienstadt, which was actually not a death camp. It would
there was a few camps that video went to.
No, pretty much every video that I saw when you showed had the subtext Theresienstadt, which was actually in the Czech Republic, and it was not a death camp. It was actually a work camp / ghetto, and you could look that up. That's a fact.
Well, according to most Jews, all the camps were death camps.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
No, they originally they said all the camps were death camps in the Nuremberg trial. Now, since then, they've had to keep knocking one after another off because people, historian revisionists, have proven that these were not death camps.
I'm not talking about other claims. I'm talking about the claims that you made in your video when you were just showing the soccer game and you were showing
when I said this one's from Auschwitz, that was from Auschwitz.
No, actually,
it said right on the video that it was from Auschwitz.
Both the video of the play that you showed and the video of the soccer game were both.
I didn't say they were in Auschwitz.
Yes, you did.
The daycare.
No. He explained that there were. I know that for sure when I was watching.
Right on the video, so I couldn't mislead people.
Okay, so anyone who just was watching that and thought that they had a play in Auschwitz, just so you all know, that was actually in Theresienstadt, which was in the Czech Republic. Auschwitz was
weren't most of these camps kind of like resorts? I'm not trying to, well, yeah, actually I am. Weren't they more like resorts? Like,
have you ever been to a resort?
Yes, I have.
You sleep in a wooden bunker?
In a wooden bunker. Well, I mean, it was still a prison camp, but it was closer to a resort than it was a death camp.
You go to prison resorts for your vacations?
I mean, people in prison in America are better off than prisons in other countries, that's for sure.
And what's your point?
My point is that you can't just say something's a death camp because you were taught it as a child.
I didn't say it was a death camp. I said Theresienstadt was not a death camp.
No, I'm talking about Auschwitz.
Okay, what about it? Have you been there?
Did it have an Olympic? Yeah, actually, I have friends that have been there.
Okay,
and those same friends would question, why would a case of Zyklon B be open and allowed to be seen to the public if any type of contact with moisture would actually release the gas?
So you're saying that your friends went to Auschwitz in Poland and saw a can of Zyklon B open on the floor and questioned.
It was inside of it was in a case, but the case had no top, like a lid. And you can actually see it.
I would imagine that they emptied out the out of the cans. They probably just had the cans there, just put that image.
Now, this is all a distraction, folks, okay? This is an absolute bastardization of what really happened, why Auschwitz was or wasn't a death camp. Okay, the truth is that over 6 million Jews were slaughtered. And the work to annihilate an entire race was in play and being carried forth. And those individuals who are Holocaust deniers of history, revisionists, need to be exposed. As a matter of fact, there was, I believe it's Fitzpatrick, I could be wrong, Fitzpatrick or Fitzgerald, one of the two. There was an individual who ran actually here in California on the Republican Party platform. I will not call him a Republican. As a matter of fact, he, and you can agree with me or not agree with me on this, not calling him a Republican, but he believed that there was no Holocaust. He was a Holocaust denier. And there were other things that fell into play there. And we had also the person who ran Medicare for all, including medical, dental, vision, orthodontists, like I said, on a MAGA platform, America First platform. These people are dangerous. They are extremely dangerous, and they are here, and they're alive and well. They're talking outwardly about what they believe, and if you think that this is no big deal, oh, this person is just shooting off, oh, they're talking out their bumtail, I can't remember what somebody said, but pretty much I can't listen to the Nazis anymore. if we shy away from the truth, we put ourselves at risk for being literally wiped off the face of the earth as Americans. I mean, look at what's going on in our country. There are communists in our Congress. There are socialists that are literally, socialists and communists, by the way, that are literally running the state of California. This is not okay, folks. This is not okay. Our founders did not intend for our republic to fall into the hands of tyrants. So, you know, hearing this might be hard. It might be difficult, but we have to talk and share about the truth, and we have to expose the information that is given to us. Somebody shared this with me because they said, you know what? This has happened in California, Erin. We saw this. It's happened in other states. We have to talk about this. The 2020 elections are coming. People need to learn and understand that just because somebody says they're America first or MAGA or a nationalist, that they are what a conservative might be, or that they believe in small government, they believe in liberty and freedom, they believe in strong family values. They could be just like this individual. So let's go on and listen some more.
People's head that it's a death camp.
Wow.
Zyklon B was used on Mexicans too, right?
Wow.
Zyklon B was used on also Mexicans, right?
Oh, God.
They were using chemicals similar to Zyklon B. It was a delousing agent. It was to kill.
Yeah, the United States used Zyklon B.
I'm still stuck on the fact that you go on.
On who? Were Mexicans, right? Or was it somebody else?
The American government in the 1930s and 40s and 50s used Zyklon B on Ellis Island off of New York when they would bring in immigrants.
Oh, I thought it was at the border, like near Mexico.
Well, they probably had it down at the border too.
Yeah, they probably did. And
they would use it to delouse the people's clothing and stuff and their luggage.
Yeah, it was a delousing agent. It was to kill lice and bugs and ticks. The reason why you see a lot of these people's heads shaved is because they had lice, bugs, and ticks, and they had to get rid of it.
Your claim was that they were using Zyklon B for delousing?
Yeah.
Okay. So your claim is that
all the proof points in that direction.
All the proof. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean,
did you just hear what they're talking about? The reason why the heads were shaved and all of that was because of lice, and that they used this chemical for delousing. Why would you shave heads if you needed a chemical for delousing? It's just, it's bizarre and it's odd, but we need to go forward because they do talk about some more interesting things. When I say interestingly disturbing things, which we need to be very aware of and share with our communities and those people who need to know that America first. We need to talk about what that means to the people who are claiming it, especially as candidates running for office. People who are in committees, sitting on various organizational groups. What do these terms mean to an individual? We need definitions. Don't just put a blanket stamp. I see America first. That person is for President Trump. Great. He's America first. He's for President Trump. But what does he believe? Because he can say he's America first and he can say he's for President Trump. But what does he really believe? Does he really believe in what the America First platform is on the whitehouse.gov? Because the America First platform is out there. Does he believe in a Republican form of government, a representative form of government, or is he literally a Nazi in disguise? So we're going to go forward and listen to the rest of this for just a few more minutes.
You're just not being realistic at all.
Of course I am. I've researched this heavily.
How do you trap gas?
Have you ever heard of Bobby Yar?
No.
No? Google that.
Hold on. How do you trap gas? That's what I'm asking.
How do I trap gas?
Yeah, how do you keep gas contained?
I have no idea. I don't do anything.
Not with wooden doors, that's for sure.
With windows.
With windows. Reconstructed. Look, man, I'm telling you, like, kicker, I was at a point in my life where I honestly thought that 6 million died. I did believe that at one time. I think most of us did. Well, it's not that I believed it, it's that that's what I was taught. And I kept questioning, why am I learning so much about World War II, but not really any other war? There was so much that we had to learn about World War II. We did projects on World War II, nothing really about World War One, until I went to a World War One museum not too long ago and realized I didn't learn any of this in school. But if I went to a World War II museum, I would have been like, oh, I knew that. Yeah, because that's what they wanted to teach us. And I think Holocaust, the teaching of the Holocaust, wasn't that taught in like the 1970s? Didn't it start in the 1970s?
Yeah, it was the 70s where they coined the phrase and really started pushing the...
So explain to me this. If it was such a horrific event, right, and it happened in the 40s, why wouldn't they teach that in the 50s? Or why would they wait 2 decades to finally teach it?
Well, maybe because the people that were in school in the 50s were alive during the Holocaust.
So they waited till they died? Or they waited till they left high school?
The next generation of children were old enough to like learn about it. I mean, I wasn't born until the 80s.
I mean, are you...
Okay, so what we have are a bunch of Holocaust deniers, a bunch of Nazis who want to say they're Holocaust deniers. They're talking about annihilation of the Jews being a great thing, pushing Jews out of America, essentially, is what they were talking about earlier. And now they're talking about how, why, if the Holocaust happened, why didn't they teach about the Holocaust right following the Holocaust? But yet they say they believe there was no Holocaust. So here's the deal, folks. We have a bunch of liars and thieves trying to steal our republic. Their communist progressive ideologies are going to ruin our country, our great republic, something our founders warned us about. At what point do we put our foot down and say enough is enough? This needs to stop. I would actually encourage all of you to go to this person's page and report this individual to the authorities, not just the person, the Ludwig person, but also the person he's interviewing, which if you go to the scope, you can find it there and you can share it with the authorities from there if you so see fit. We must put our foot down in this country. Right now, you know, it would be the point where you'd have to say, okay, Erin, well, are you saying freedom of speech? You shouldn't be able to say what you want to say? Well, I'll question the fact of when you say that you should be able to say what you'd like to say, as long as it doesn't step on your liberties or mine, you can say whatever you please. But when you talk about the annihilation of an entire race and taking over our country from within and making it like Nazi Germany, something my grandfather and many other people have fought and people have died to liberate from communism, you've drawn the line in the sand there. So folks, I would like for you to share this scope. Please share the truth. Please share the truth with love and liberty and freedom for all. We have to fight for our republic. If we don't, no one will. God bless you. God bless California. And God bless the United States of America.